Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Winter is blooming, baby, and with it, we rewatch Game of Thrones. This week marks episode 3, Lord Snow, written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, directed by Brian Kirk. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. I am also joined today by the magnificent Tavarus Pennington. What's up, homie?
Hola, how's it going?
Oh, I'm living. We just finished recording the Black Panther Wakanda Forever episode. We figured let's get a jump start on the Game of Thrones rewatch a little bit earlier than we planned. I'm having a great time today, and I'm excited to talk about this episode. I will say, along this rewatch so far, I feel the weakest about this episode, the least riveting of the three we've gotten thus far in the rewatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of just felt like a progression episode. Just a lot of let's get to know some characters more, give you some more characters to know as well, and then
many an introduction this week. Lots of first encounters. We see Littlefinger for the first time. We see Lord Varys for the first time, Renly Baratheon for the first time, Lord Commander Mormont up at the Night's Watch, Sir Alistair Thorne, just all sorts of characters who become very, very important characters. Just meeting them for the first time this week, and that was a real cool part of this episode. I did enjoy, expanding this universe even more than it already was. Fucking love the kitten. Just getting up in the camera's face. That was so fucking cute. Oh, what the fuck going on here? Nah, man, I'm ready to talk about it though. Are we ready for something of a scene by scene breakdown?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Of course.
All right, so we begin this episode in King's Landing, as you folks know, these two, but maybe the rest of you do not. I take this location by location in discussion of the episode, and we're going to start with all the stories that happen in King's Landing this week as a very central hub of this episode. The royal party reaches King's Landing, and almost immediately, Lord Stark is asked to attend a meeting of the King's Small Council. And they're like, all right, so if you wanna get changed into something more appropriate, that'd be great. And I love the way Ned's like, fuck you, dude. I wear what I want when I want.
I'm a Northman. I don't wear your clothes. Yeah.
Oh, you want me to get all fancy schmancy on you? Fuck you. I wear what I want when I want. I loved it. Just a great introduction to Ned in this episode. And before that, he encounters Jaime here in the throne room. Very familiar imagery for him, as in the book, he describes a scenario where whenever they usurped the throne, they killed the Mad King, Ned walked in and saw Jaime sitting on the throne for a couple seconds. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'm just keeping it warm for our King Robert Baratheon.
This is what happens in the books?
Yes, I think he might go on to explain it later, but by this time in the books, it's already been explained. He's already had that monologue on the King's Road with Robert. He describes this scenario to him, where he walks into the throne room after Jaime's killed the Mad King, and Jaime's sitting on the throne. And he just kind of sits there for a couple minutes, and they eye each other for a little bit, and then he's like, don't worry, I'm just keeping it warm for our friend Robert.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a flashback here for Nettie whenever he walks in and sees Jamie. And, he's still not happy with Ned about him judging him all dishonorable for killing the Mad King. He's like, oh, is that what he said when you shoved his sword in his back? And he's like, oh, would you respect me more if I'd stabbed him in his chest? He's like, what quit being all high and mighty on me, bro. I did what I had to do. Okay? Fuck you.
Yeah.
I guess honestly a fair point.
He
Like, if I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him. It's like that's the thing that mattered, is that I killed the man.
Yeah.
Not where I killed him.
Yeah.
Well, do we think Ned, if given his way, would have killed the Mad King?
I think he might. I think Ned would have. I think the problem Ned has with Jamie is that he was the king's guard. He broke a sacred oath in guarding the king to kill that king. And I think that, if an oath is broken, no matter how, reasonable that breaking of the oath might have been, like killing the Mad King, it's a broken oath, man. It's somebody you can't trust ever again.
Yeah, and I think that this is a particular scene where the parallels are coming through strongly about how Jamie is honorable only insofar as honor serves his wishes. Very much like
him and his family. He'd kill every single person if they were the last two people on Earth. Him
right.
And Cersei.
Parallels another character that we come to meet in House of the Dragon.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Daemon Targaryen, I'm assuming, is who you're talking about there. Yeah. Very, very similar in essence there, Jamie and Daemon, even though I'd say Jamie reaches towards the light a little bit more at points throughout the series than Daemon seems to. But
hey, you never know.
You never know. Maybe he comes around a little bit. But
I don't think he does.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's fucked. That dude's that's a crazy motherfucker right there, Daemon Targaryen.
I did spoil Daemon's death for myself, and he makes it to the end about.
Yeah. No, that's the thing is that that's the thing is that all these characters will die. They're not alive in Game of Thrones 200 years before. They're gonna die. It's more how we get there that I'm fascinated by. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I know how Rhaenyra dies. That's fun.
I don't know how anyone dies at all. I know zero.
Oh, you lucky motherfucker!
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I don't know how I managed to keep it that way, even on Twitter. I risk it on Twitter. I think every time I get close to a spoiler, I just get really lucky and I get off of it fast enough, and I don't actually see it.
I get you. Dude, I got the finale of House of the Dragon spoiled for me hard.
Damn.
Hard.
Damn.
I knew pretty much everything that was going to happen in that episode.
Were you not? Did you not watched it when it came on?
No, it leaked 2 days before, and people were talking about it like it was out.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah, so I was just fucked. I watched it at 8 p.m. on Sunday night.
You always watch it at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. How did you get?
That's what's crazy. I don't know. They fucked me on that one. But any hoozle, the Mad King. It's brought up again that they murdered Ned's father and brother, and the throne after mayhem was through. Jamie is, he doesn't feel bad about having killed the Mad King. I think he's like, I did the right thing. I have no doubts about that. And we get a little bit more on that a little bit later, which might be my favorite line of the episode. A little bit later on from Jaime Lannister, but after this, Ned goes to meet with the council. This is where we meet Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, the king's master of coin, and friend of Ned's wife from childhood. We meet I don't know if we met Grand Maester Pycelle here. Had we seen Grand Maester Pycelle yet?
I think this is his introduction.
I think it's his introduction as well. Yeah, Grand Maester Pycelle for the first time here. This is General Veers from the Star Wars original trilogy. He's an Imperial in the original trilogy. Just some random motherfucker who gets choked through a monitor by Darth Vader. Remember that guy?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I do, I guess. Wow, I would have never guessed that.
No, yeah, that's what's crazy. Is like he's old as fuck here, but then like yeah, that makes sense. He would have been in the original trilogy. It's kind of crazy.
Damn.
And then we also meet Lord Renly Baratheon, the younger of the king's two brothers and the master of laws, and Varys, the eunuch and master of whisperers. And yeah,
Who knows everything?
Everything. And Varys tells Ned, I heard about the troubles on the King's Road, that he prays for Joffrey's recovery, and Ned's like, it's a shame no one prayed for the butcher's boy. He's like, yeah, what's up? You know everything, huh?
I'm coming in this place, guns blazing. I'm changing this up around here.
When he came through and was like, yeah, we can't afford such expenses like this. I'm going to talk to Robert about it. And he's like, well, we're already 3 million gold dragons in debt to the Lannisters. What's 80,000 more? He's like, you're telling me the crown is 3 million in debt? Sir, I'm telling you the crown is 6 million in debt.
6 million. Yeah, they don't own all our debt. It's crazy because they only throw that comment in there every so often in Game of Thrones where they're like, oh yeah, by the way, the crown is like seriously in debt. Like,
they're having a rough time out here, money wise.
Yeah, and I think that's just to reinforce that notion that power is all perception. Like, it's not money itself. It's not, brutality itself. It's just the perception of power. It's just people believe that those who say they're in charge are.
Oh, and there's no better example of that than over in fucking Karth, whenever that dude is like, I'm the richest motherfucker out here. Look at my vault. It's full of shit. Y'all ain't gonna see it though. Then they open it and it's fucking empty. He's like, y'all just believed me. Like,
I mean, we're currently sitting at 31.2 trillion, the U.S. So try to wrap your head around that number in debt. That's our crown's debt right now.
Did you say 31? We're at 31 trillion already?
31 trillion. Yep.
That's like nearly quadrupled since we were in high school. It was like a trillion.
Yep.
It's bad out here.
We just hit 8 billion people in the world. That's kind of cool. We lived through that.
Yep. New number ticking away up there. Been 7 billion my whole life. Now it's 8.
There you go. Wow. Big numbers.
Big numbers. Real quick.
Big numbers all around.
Real quick side note, I discovered the truth to this question a few weeks ago and it blew my mind. Have you ever thought about how many millions are in a billion?
A million billion.
Not quite. There
are 99,000 million?
So I was doing research on Elizabeth, I can't remember her last name, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. Part of the pact to give away all of her money before she dies. And she's worth like 35 billion, I want to say. Or maybe like 41, somewhere in that range. So I'm like, how much money is that really? There's $1,000 million in every billion. So that means 35 or 41 billion is 41,000 million. So think about a million. Now think about that 41,000 times.
Yeah, that shit always melts my brain to think about.
Wait.
Like, and not even on that level, just like, $100,000.
I think you're thinking of a trillion. Because there's only 1,000 millions in a billion.
Right.
That's what he said.
Oh, wait.
So, then he said 41 billion.
If you break 41 billion, that's 41,000 billion.
I see now.
Which is like,
yes. Yeah, no. The shit that always blows my mind is like, you think about $100,000. That's life-changing amounts of money here.
Yeah.
Like, times that by 10.
True.
You got $1 million.
And that's
times that by 10, you got 10 million. Times that by 10, you have $100 million. You times that by 10, you have $1 billion. You times that by like 100, and you have the richest motherfucker in the world. Like,
you have, like, what do you even, like, it hurts your brain. Like, it hurts your brain. And
There is one person with that much money.
I don't even know if I could buy a full McDonald's order right now with my bank account. That's where I'm sitting. That's where I am. I don't even know if I could go to McDonald's and comfortably order a meal. I might have to legitimately get a small fry right now. I don't know.
Well, it's crazy. Like I don't think about it often, but like I have a car payment. I'm paying for school that I went to for a fucking semester down at Mizzou. Like,
still paying for that?
I'm like $23,000 in debt. And it's like, I don't think about that often. You know, I don't let my thoughts dwell on that. I just go ahead and make my fucking payments.
Make payments. Move
like,
along.
ain't shit I can do about it. I've just got to fucking power through. But like 6 million gold dragons in debt. Now that's some shit right there.
That's shit.
That's some shit.
And it really,
but, yeah.
I am much more after learning like this fact and like understanding like what it would like, not even being able to conceive what it would be like to be in this amount of debt. I am much more sympathetic with Ned in this scene.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't need a goddamn tournament. Let me talk to Robert about this shit.
Yeah. He's
fucking
like,
loved it.
I love how Robert's just not there. Like every council meeting that we saw in House of the Dragon, it didn't start until Viserys sat down. Like it was no question until like obviously Alicent took over, whatever. But like, I love how Robert's just not there, and it's even laughable to think that he would be there or that he would even care of any of these things. Like,
yeah. Whenever Ned pulls up and he's like, "Where's King Robert?" and he's like, everyone goes, "Oh, yeah, he has much more on his plate. We're the lords of small matters here." Okay.
Lords of small matters. That's such a power move in a way to just be like, yeah, we're the lords of small matters. Meanwhile, we're actually managing them.
We are ruling the kingdom presently. like that's some crazy shit. And like that's what was funny is I saw a tweet the other day that was like, who's the better king in season 1? King Robert Baratheon or King Viserys Targaryen the First? And I quote tweeted it and said, this is a Robert setup. Like you are wanting us to flame Robert right now because maybe Viserys did with his actions lead the realm to war. At least he fucking tried.
Yeah.
At least he did something out there. If Robert would have tried, maybe he could have prevented war. He just knew war was coming and didn't do a single goddamn thing about it. Like,
yeah. And he died by a freaking boar.
Yep.
You know, that's what took him out eventually. That kind of sucks.
Well, and I thought it was really interesting how, because we get a couple shots of that scene, or I guess of that hunting trip that he was on when he dies, but they don't actually go into like the significance of hunting or like how people, because when they talked about it in the House of the Dragon,
it's an event, it's a celebration.
Yeah, like a celebration, and it's like meaningful if you are going out and able to kill things or unable to kill things. Like people actually look down on you.
Like, oh, you can't kill a fucking boar,
right? So it's like in a certain way, it's not a shameful death, right? Because he usurped the throne. Like people know Robert Baratheon was powerful, but it was a mark that his power had ended because he had lost that physical ability, or he seemed to have lost that physical ability. Really, he was probably just drunk off his ass.
Drunk and a little poisoned, if I remember correctly. Like Lancel flipped something into his drink.
Oh shit! Forgot about that too.
Yeah, Cersei 6 Lancel on him is like, yeah, drug his wine a little bit, get him real fucked up out there.
I forget how fucked up Cersei is sometimes.
Oh no, yeah, she goes to lengths. She goes to extreme lengths.
I mean, like even like right here talking to Joffrey right after.
Yeah, right after that, it's she's talking to Joffrey about the incident on the river. She's acting a fool. She tells him, when he's king, the truth will be whatever he decides it will be.
And honey, you can fuck whoever you want. You don't have to just fuck your wife.
If you want to fuck painted whores, you fuck painted whores.
Yeah, come on, honey, you don't need to be loyal. Let me teach you these lessons early. You need to learn these things, son. Yeah, love that.
He wants to do
like, It's interesting the way Joffrey's like view of the crown's politics right now with the North, where he's like, well, I'd install our Kevin. Send Kevin up there.
I would simply go there, kill whoever's ruling, and put whoever I want there.
I'll double their taxes, force them to contribute to a standing army, and should they object, we'll crush them and install someone loyal. Maybe fucking Kevin.
It is known. It's just what will happen. Yeah,
it is known.
That's his soul.
I love that Cersei's like, oh, you little fucking moron.
Oh, you idiot. Yeah.
Oh, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Honey, come here. She's like, the North is bigger than every other kingdom combined. A military will not be conquered by outsiders. They don't let that shit happen. King needs to be more clever. She advises him to be kind to his betrothed Sansa, to which Joffrey is he's already disgusted by Sansa. He's already like, you're fucking kidding me, right? Like, fuck no. And the way that and she's like, and concludes, anyone who isn't us is an enemy. He's like, so she's like, keep an eye on your enemies. And he's like, so you agree the Starks are enemies? And he's like, anyone who isn't us is an enemy. I was like, oh, that was kind of hard. It's a little closed-minded, but it's a hard line.
No, and it's the way you got to be. Like, you have to be very vigilant about not just like those people that don't like you, but just anyone who may have an opportunity to not like you, because they will take it and they will fuck you up.
Well, they will fuck you up.
Cersei is quite close-minded. Actually, she keeps the circle quite small.
Yeah, it's all in the family with Cersei.
Generally also blood related.
Yeah, what's
as
crazy
close
is
as
like
you
when
can get
like
to.
The craziest little tidbit is that she like also fucks Lancel every once in a while.
Yeah.
The King's Cup bearer.
Yeah,
comes around eventually.
They really only do hands.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was like one scene where he was like leaving a room or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, it's later. I don't remember when it is. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But like it's implied that they fuck every once in a while, or at least that once. And it's like, man, she really about the Lannister line, huh?
Wow. That's nuts.
It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed. But after this, Arya and Sansa, we cut to them, and they're still at odds over the incident with Joffrey and the direwolf. And Ned explains to Arya that Sansa was put in a difficult position by the king and queen. She was asked to, betray her husband Joffrey, and she's gonna be his wife. She's got to agree with him even when he's wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a bit old school. That's a bit old school, Ned. I see where you're coming from, but not like Viserys was handling shit like this better, which I didn't. I don't know. I was just kind of like, oh, that's weird. I didn't think Viserys had like anything up on Ned, but maybe.
I think that's just how Patty Considine played the character. Like, was Viserys written to be this nice, like, actually, like...
Yeah, because Viserys was deeply compassionate, like, on a level that was, like, unnatural, not just for kings or for people...
But for men at this time.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So it's actually written like that. Oh, I didn't know if they, like, just took the liberty, like, to make him just a little more likable just in today's eye, like, in today's vision.
I don't know about book-wise. I think Patty Considine obviously took it in a whole new direction, but the way they wrote the show, though, he's always siding with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And, there is another perspective. He doesn't have a son that's true born by the wife he loved. And Ned does have sons, so maybe there's like a little bit of a difference there where he's like, oh, I know that if I have a son and he should take a wife, I would like for him to have someone who stands by his side no matter what. And there's merit in that, but this was one of my favorite scenes because Arya shows off accidentally, not really accidentally, answers the door with needle in hand. And Ned's like, "Oh, you got a fucking sword, huh?" And I like that. And I don't know if I've ever noticed this, but the way that like he says the same line John did.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I honestly second guessed it when he said it. I was like, "Wait, did I get the episode wrong?" And I was like,
"Yeah, this is no toy."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I love that!" Like it was just like a nice little parallel between the way John and Ned are, and like this is no toy. And I like that by the end of it, he's like, "All right, we'll if you're gonna practice, you're gonna do it right. I'll see about it. I'll get back to you. BRB."
Like
I
the
love
coolest motherfucking swords fighter character ever on her oh man. No, this Arya is she gets my favorite character nod for this episode. For this scene, and like her just being, like I don't want to be a lady. I want to be a warrior. Like I don't want to do that shit. I want to be badass. And then her actually training, at later on in the episode, is super cool. And this is like just the start of Arya's true character. And I just
be the start of something new on her high school musical shit. But I think I'm damn close to going with Arya as my favorite character of the episode as well. This was the beginning of a great storyline for her. I do have a few contenders though, because there's a lot of good going around in this episode. But I was a good place to leave them there, and we then see Catelyn and Sir Roderick arrive at King's Landing, trying to sneak into the city. One difference from the book that I noticed here was that part of the motivation for Catelyn and going to King's Landing was taking a boat and getting there before the party that did arrive earlier in the episode, the Starks and the royal party, the Baratheons and Lannisters and stuff. She was like, got to get down there before them so that they don't see me entering the city. And, the same thing happens. Littlefinger was like, "Oh, saw you coming in. What's up?" Varys had me, but nevertheless, they're spotted by one of Littlefinger's men, and they're taken to meet Littlefinger at a brothel he owns. And I love Catelyn being like, "Are you fucking for real right now?
You brought me here.
You brought me here, bro? What do you think? I have no honor?" And he's like, "Nobody was going to be looking for you here. Shit, man. I thought I was doing the right thing. God damn."
You take me for some back alley Sally.
Back alley Sally, fucking legendary. And I love that Littlefinger, his voice. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a historic moment. I know something that you do not.
That says is like he's saying it like that, and I like the creators leave it so open ended that like as a viewer you're expected to wonder if he does in fact actually know something that you don't. But I just don't think he does most of the time. Like
no, I love everything about Littlefinger. I hate him. I absolutely hate what he stands for. But like as just a character in a show, he causes so much just chaos.
He's such an no reason. Character,
oh
dude.
God, I love him in a show.
Yeah, he adds so much to the story in a way that's just really, really compelling.
He's so just effortlessly arrogant. Just effortlessly.
Stalks.
I mean,
quick tempers, slow minds.
And I love how Varys is just behind the like beads.
Yeah,
of the
he's
thing,
just waiting
like,
around the curtain,
like kind of just standing there looking in, like listening in, and then like
the fucking Phantom Menace over here.
Yeah,
right.
Let me introduce to you how I know that you are here, or how I know everything. The man who knows everything.
Yes. Lord Varys.
Man,
yeah, he's waiting there. He explains that one of his little birds told him they were coming, and Catelyn is angered by the way they've been treated thus far, and asks Littlefinger for aid in finding the people who have tried to kill Bran. And
man,
I love how Varys is like, "Do you have the dagger?" And they're like, what the fuck? This dude really does know everything.
At first, it's like,
All right,
oh, your
Roger.
poor hands. Like, oh, your
Mhm.
poor hands. Like, instantly knowing that, like, she defended herself. Like, that's how he even knows that. And then, like, do you have the dagger with you? And it was like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah, and
okay, so it's through ravens, right? That he knows
yeah,
these things, but like, how?
He just has people. He just has people who just
Like, okay, like, does he just have that many ravens, and they come back to like another human, and that human relays the message? Like, how does it logistically get to him?
I think
Is what I wanted. Raven to Varys.
From my understanding, his network of spiders, you know, as they call them, are just those people who just are just kind of, you know, constantly privy to things that he may want to know, but yet not of any interest to anyone. I wish they went. They only maybe point out a few of them if they relate to the story in some larger part. I wish they went into depth more on who these people were, because I do have that question.
We only meet a few. You know, we know Jorah at the moment is a little bird across the sea. We know later on that he actually uses children throughout the city to report back to him because nobody assumes children are listening. But like in the north, we have I don't think we ever figure out who his little birds in the north are. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting. It would be interesting to learn a little.
So it's not through literal ravens, then.
Well, they send.
I think from the north, it would make sense for someone who is a messenger to have access to one of his ravens and give it to the.
But it would be. It's not through. Okay.
No, he's not talking to ravens.
It is a human sending the raven every time. Like, okay, because like.
That's my thought. To
me, it seems so insane that he knows so much, every detail, that like, I don't know, that's just a lot. I don't know, that's just insane. That's a huge network. Like, I guess it's just that more impressive. Maybe it's just hitting me now.
Yeah, no,
how impressive his network is.
I think it is supposed to be a little daunting and hard to understand because, I mean, not only because of the way communication worked then, but like, to have that sort of reach is kind of nuts. To have spies everywhere is
like
an
at first
thing to
yeah, I'm thinking like, what's the ties that he has with the three-eyed raven? You know, is that his main tie? You know, like is that his source, dude?
That would be nuts.
That's who he
That would be nuts
to.
If the three-eyed raven was like, all right, I'm gonna write this motherfucker right quick. Varys falls asleep at night. The three-eyed raven's there. He's like, yo, so check this out.
Yeah, it just gives him like a daily tabloid, just every day. the three-eyed raven. He's like, here's what you want to know today to make your life more fun and interesting.
Well, I mean, like, that's the power of having like Bran on the throne at the end of the show. He's never surprised by shit.
No,
you know, anybody's doing anything, he knows. But yeah, they hand the dagger to Varys, and she's like, do you know whose it is? He's like, I'm sorry to say I do not. And Littlefinger's whole, it is a historic moment.
Get out the history books.
You do not.
Start writing this down. This is amazing.
He lost it in a tournament when he bet on Jaime Lannister, as any sane man would. And Tyrion bet against him. Which I thought was a funny little detail, that Tyrion did not bet on his brother.
They rigged it. You think? Because Jaime and Tyrion they seem cool with each other. I feel like they rigged that.
Maybe it's like maybe he had a little inside information. Like Jaime's like, ooh, I don't know about that new kid. He might get my ass. What do they call him? I know it's Loras Tyrell. It's I can't remember what they called him though. It's like the Flower Knight or some shit like that.
Oh, like some like kind of flowers or something like that.
Yeah. Old Tyrell's over there, but
they're from Garden.
High Garden.
The Night of the Flowers.
The Night of the Flowers.
Night of the Flowers. Yeah.
Kick ass. All right, so I was a lot closer than I thought. I just thought it sounded goofy as fuck.
It does. I thought it sounded goofier because I was like, no, it was goofy.
Any sane man would when the Night of the Flowers unseated him.
The Night of the Flowers. So it's of the flowers.
Yeah, of the flowers.
Night of Flowers.
I lost his dagger to whom? Tyrion Lannister. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Night.
So, yeah, Littlefinger lost this dagger to Tyrion. It seems pretty obvious at this point for us who have watched the show that Cersei framed Tyrion pretty hard here. Knew that if anybody traced this dagger back to anybody, it'd be Tyrion. And kind of fucked from that point. But after this, Littlefinger fetches Ned to meet his wife, but Ned suspects a little bit trickery is going on around Littlefinger, so he goes ahead and holds him by the throat up against the wall of the brothel, wanting to know what his game is. I fucking loved that, dude. I fucking loved it because, like, it's just, I love that Ned's like, dude, I'm not going to put up with any of your fucking shit. I know you're up to something. I don't trust you around my wife. I'm ready to fuck you up.
Want to know an awesome little cool thing in this episode? Like, I've been paying attention to a lot of the transitions between scenes of, like, Daenerys and Jon. A lot of times it goes from Jon and Daenerys or to Daenerys to Jon. But this time, whenever Ned put Baelish in the chokehold, it went immediately then to Jon getting put in a chokehold by the Brothers of the Night's Watch, like immediately afterwards. Which is just, I don't know, it's so cool, just the transitions that as a new viewer, you're not thinking of it at all, like whatsoever, but like, it's just a cool way of the writers to be like, a long time viewer will get some satisfaction out of this. You know? Like,
I dig it. But Catelyn then appears to him, and Ned's immediately pacified. He's like, "Oh, dope. Okay, there's my boo. What's up, boo? What's up, boo? How you doing?" And after hearing her news, he's like, "All right, sounds good. I'm gonna investigate this. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. I'm gonna expose the Lannisters to Robert directly." And Littlefinger's like, "Yes, I will be your ally in this." "Quote unquote. I don't trust this motherfucker at all. I did warn you not to trust me." Not looking good for him because Littlefinger agrees to be his ally, and for the affection he once bore Catelyn. And Catelyn's like, "He is like a little brother to me." Like, and Littlefinger's like, "Boo, I wanna marry you and shit." I have for quite some time.
Dang, I forgot about that. He actually gets there eventually. It's like, dang. Man, so much happens in the show. Holy shit.
He's down bad. He's down bad for Cat. But Ravens then arrive at King's Landing with news of Bran's recovery, and it is brought to Cersei, brought to Ned. Everyone learns, and Cersei fears he will expose their secret. But Jaime comforts her, confident they can outwit a child if need be. And this whole scene just, God, they're icky. They are.
Don't worry, baby. Even if it goes not our way, I'll kill everyone on this earth until it's just us. Brother and sister. Forever. Twins at that, in the same womb, together.
Just everything. Just whole life, side by side. Came into this world together, exit the world together. Something disturbingly poetic about it.
Yes.
Yeah, but this whole scene, this was one of one person I'm considering for the performance here is Nikolaj Coster-Waldau as Jaime Lannister. I think he does very, very good in this episode. I don't know that I'm going to go with him yet, but he is somebody I'm considering because this scene and the next scene coming up, he does fucking phenomenally in. And I know I'm going to go with him for the line here before long. But after this scene, we see Robert swapping some old war stories with Sir Barristan Selmy, who becomes just an absolute fucking G later on in the show.
Sir Barristan is like, bruh, like, you can't really... You can't really compare it to him. Like, he's just, like, on another level with it. And you're just like, this old man is doing that like that? And you're just like...
This old man is like that, bro. Remember when he was taking out Sons of the Harpy on his way out? He was, like, 30v1, took out, like, 28 of them hoes. Like, all of them died, and he was the only one facing them.
There There is a scene later, right before Daenerys conquers. What's the final place? Is it Marine? No.
Yeah, Marine.
Is
Marine's
Marine
a place.
like that's the eventual place where she sets up shop?
She like posts up with like the pyramid and stuff. I think so.
So when she was conquering that town, and they sent out the single challenger, and everybody was like, "Your Grace, like let me fight for your honor or whatever." And everyone there, when Sir Barristan volunteered, was like, "Nah, man, you gotta stay. Like you're the Queen's guard. Like
you holding it down, bro. You cannot go out there right now."
Yeah. Like, we know, man. We know you'd fuck up whoever this is, but you know,
but on the off chance you don't, we can't risk that.
I was like, that man is powerful.
Yeah, that man's a fucking badass, and you know they're talking about their first kills and stuff. Oh, you remember the first? Fucking love Mark Addy as Robert Baratheon once again. Fucking phenomenal, and he he sends Lancel out to get him some more wine. He's like, more wine. Then he's like, so we're out. He's like, oh, you're out of wine, are you?
Is that what that means? Yeah,
how about you get the fuck out of here? Get me more. And on his way, I was like, tell your cousin to come in here. Hey, Kingslayer, get in here. Fucking fantastic. Jamie walks on in, jokes around. I'm surrounded by Lannisters. I see their blonde hair in my nightmares. Fucking fantastic. This whole monologue really is a really strong one. Surrounded by Lannisters. Every time I close my eyes, I see their blonde hair and smug, satisfied faces. It must wound your pride, huh? Standing out there like a glorified sentry. And Jamie's like, I'm fucking your wife.
I'm fucking your wife.
Damn. Yep.
Jamie
Lannister. I guess honestly, Robert probably doesn't care. Anyways. Really. Like he'll be mad, yeah, obviously, because he has to be. But like on the real, like to his core, it probably doesn't really bother him.
No. The only thing that would bother him is that it's her fucking brother.
Yeah, fair. True.
Forced to mind the door while your king eats and drinks and shits and fucks. Fucking Robert with the fucking bars here. So come on, we're telling war stories. Who was your first kill, not counting old men? Like, that whole fucking monologue right there is goddamn brilliant by Mark Addy. I fucking love it. But Jamie, one of the outlaws in the Brotherhood, and Barristan was like, I was there that day. You were only a squire, 16 years old. And I like the way that Jamie and Barristan are like, yeah. Like Jamie's like, yeah, you were fucking awesome that day. When you killed that one guy, ooh, that was one of the best moves I've ever seen. Your outlaw, any last words? Well, I cut off his head, so no. And this is where my favorite line of the episode comes in. What about Aerys Targaryen? What did the Mad King say when you stabbed him in the back? I never asked. Did he call you a traitor? Did he plead for a reprieve? And here it is. He said the same thing he'd been saying for hours. Burn them all. And they're everyone in the room's kind of like, oh, okay.
And they really do a good job playing Jamie with complexity there. Costa Walder does a good job playing Jamie with complexity there, because on one level, like, you have to recognize that, like, while it's hard as a viewer to like either Jamie or Robert Baratheon in that scene, like as they're written, Jamie is very much trying not to, like, he's trying to pander to Robert. Like, he very much doesn't like being there, like talking with him, and you can see that. But when he gets down to the root of it, he lets him kind of walk on him a little bit, but he's just like, I did what I had to do.
Same thing he'd been saying for hours. Burn them all. And then everyone like gapes at him, and then he's like, if that will be all, your grace. Walks on out like
yeah, just walks
around. Nah, man, it's getting harder and harder for me to not go with Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, because that really was such a fantastic scene. But Like Mark Addy again, fucking fantastic playing off of him there. It'll be hard. I'm gonna hold in my favorite performance and favorite character until we get to the end because I'm having a real tough time with this episode. But yeah, that was a great fucking scene, and you're absolutely right about Nikolaj Coster-Waldau playing that with some very, very cool complexity about how he is so assured that he did the right thing, but he's been damned for it ever since. Like everyone's shamed him, and that obviously goes on to be a massive part of his arc with Brienne of Tarth and everything. Like, he's a fantastic actor, and frankly, he only gets better and better. But the next one is actually my favorite scene in the episode. Ned has contracted a sword master, Syrio Forel, the former first sword of Braavos, to teach Arya how to use her sword properly. And yeah, love me some Syrio Forel. This dude, the actor who plays him, actually appeared in The Force Awakens as well. I'll point out every Star Wars Game of Thrones crossover. He appeared in The Force Awakens as just a fucking person, a patron at Maz Kanata's bar. He was just there. Didn't say anything. Was just there.
Cool.
But I loved this scene. You know, them setting Arya on a path, and Arya is absolutely thrilled, and the dance begins. You know, I love the way he's like, turn side face. It's good. You're skinny. Smaller target. And the way she just attacks him, and he just breezes her off nice and easy. And the way she never is disappointed with the way she's performing. She's just happy to finally be doing this.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, she's having fun. She's like smiling the whole time. Like this. Yeah, this is by far my favorite scene too. Like this is why I have Arya as the favorite character. And then you see her getting happier with it. And then what just like the cherry on top is just having Ned just walk in and watch, just from the door, like just like kind of watch, but then it kind of takes a weird turn.
Yeah, his this man's been to war.
He's been through it.
Yeah, he's not exactly happy to see his daughter training.
It was kind of happy at first. He was like,
it started happy.
Finally, my daughter is doing what she wants. She's having fun. But then,
he's like, what does this mean for her in the future? Is my daughter going to die at war?
Yeah.
I know war is coming.
Nope, she is the crucial warrior. She is. She needs to have that skill.
Yep.
Actually,
and I love that
you would
all
be
of it
proud, Ned. Yeah.
I love that all of it comes from Braavos too. Like the first sword of Braavos is the first one to teach her. She goes to Braavos to find the House of Black and White. Obviously, she learned some from Brienne and the Hound along the way. But Braavos is she fights like a Bravosi, as they're regarded.
Oh yeah, That's Arya is for sure my character, and that scene is the scene for me. So we'll have, I guess.
I'm gonna hold off on that. I think it's my favorite scene, but there's another one that's just like,
okay.
But that does conclude the story at King's Landing. Next, we'll head to Winterfell. Very brief scene here at Winterfell. Bran has awoken, but has no memory of the accident, and his injuries have left him bedridden. He's not going to be walking anytime soon, and old Nan, the oldest servant in the castle, the spiders, big as hounds. I fucking love this lady. Is
this the stories you want to hear, little boy?
And he'd be like, yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, I guess. No, I absolutely loved this scene too. And you know what? I'm going to declare a favorite performance.
Okay.
No fucking way. It's this lady?
It's not this lady. It's Isaac Hempstead Wright as Bran. I think he does fucking fantastic in this scene. Whenever he is getting like, he's sitting there, he's like, I don't like those stories. And then whenever Rob walks in is really when it starts to get good for him. Whenever he's like, I'd rather be dead. And Rob's like, don't say that. And he goes, I'd rather be dead. It is a child actor, and saying a line like that could be so okay, yeah, clearly this kid doesn't want to be. I believe this kid wants to be dead. You know what I'm saying? Isaac Hempstead Wright plays this scene incredibly well, and later on his character doesn't warrant a lot of performance appraisal because he is rather simple later on. But
I mean, I don't know. He's got to play a weird creepy though. You know, like there's something to that. He's probably not like that in real life.
No,
I'd assume not. I don't know.
Certainly not. But like seeing him with emotion, we don't get a lot of it. We don't get a lot of emotion out of Bran, and having it here really does make it worth it. But
and you don't realize until later that you're gonna really miss this Bran.
You don't at all.
You're gonna miss the Bran that's like compassionate and childlike.
And I love, and frankly, it was another great scene for Richard Madden acting off of him when he's like, no, like, don't say that, man. Like, you're my little brother. I love you, dog. Like, and whenever he walks in, he's like, oh man, get the fuck out of here. Go get yourself something to eat. I absolutely loved that. And, she's talking about the White Walkers and the vast winter that will blanket the world. And it's like, aha, they're coming. They're coming. And Bran will be closer to them than most. But that's it. That's it for Winterfell. Next, we're at the Wall and at Castle Black. The primary show of everything is Jon Snow showing his worth.
For me, the Wall early on in the show is so uncompelling, which is why I feel like the whole this show starts with that scene of the White Walkers, but that threat by this point in the show, watching it, you're just like, what was that first scene? What was the point of that? What?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I've always loved about rewatching the show is that Jon starts from absolutely nothing. Like you truly, the first time you watch that, do not give a fuck about what's happening at the Wall.
Exactly.
And come 4 seasons down the line, you're like, take me back to the fucking Wall. What the fuck is Jon doing? What's going on with the wildlings?
There's a hole in the wall now.
Yeah.
Dragon did that. It's like, I don't know. It eventually becomes everything. That's kind of my favorite line comes later here. And it kind of centers around this whole thing. Which is kind of cool. Like, I don't know. I love, now watching it, I love every moment we get at the Wall and all the little early seed droppings and stuff like that. But yeah, at the very beginning, watching with my girlfriend, she whenever Jon was up on screen, she was like, who's that again? And I had to explain that it's just the bastard son of Ned Stark, no one important at all, not the prince who's promised, and literally the most important person in the realm
right now. He's just Ned Stark's bastard, and I love that he's beaten ass. We meet a lot of characters here: Sir Alistair Thorne, Lord Commander Jorah Mormont, not to mention Grenn and Pip. They become more important for Jon's sanity up at the Wall later on because he needs some homies and they're the only ones who's coming through. But he bests pretty much everyone out there. Breaks Grenn's nose, and Thorne is disgusted at the performance of everybody else and has no praise for Jon either, dubbing him the least useless person here. And watching over the new recruits, Jeor Mormont is watching alongside Tyrion. And Tyrion notes that Thorne's pretty. This guy's got quite the tactics here for instruction.
He's an asshole.
Oh. Yeah, he's a dickhead. And Jeor doesn't care as he only requires Thorne to turn the thieves and runaways into men of the Night's Watch, and that is something he does well. And later on, several of the other recruits gang up on Jon. They all hold him. Grenn's like, "You broke my nose." They hold him up against the wall, ready to cut his fucking throat, and Tyrion walks in and is like, "Oh, you guys have pretty faces, very distinctive faces. They look very interesting on pikes at King's Landing." And they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, Jon. You got lucky this time. Bye." But Tyrion points out to Jon that none of the other recruits had the master at arms to train them, and that Jon is alienating them through his superiority complex, because that's what's kind of funny about this is I didn't really remember John being such a uppity asshole.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
me either. I honestly,
like,
I'm still not like I'm in like season 4 of my actual rewatch, and I'm still not like at a point where I love John yet. I'm kind of like, it's kind of crazy how much we end up loving John. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. I think whenever he goes north of the wall, whenever he goes and lives with the wildlings for a little bit, that's when you start to be like, oh, this guy's got something about him that's a little bit more important. But it's not to like hard home that you go, oh,
but because he,
dude.
I mean, like, right now he does think he's better than these people because, like, all these people are thieves or rapists
Rapers.
or, like, and he just happens to be a bastard son. Like, he kind of does in his mind, like, I am better than them. I should be going north of the wall with you, Uncle Benjamin. Like, come on. Like, I am better than these people. And like, that's just how, I don't know. That's part of his, like, one of his many lessons that he learns along the way.
Oh, and I loved Tyrion being like, you see Pip there? It was either they took his hand or he was sent to the wall because he stole bread for his starving sister. See Gren there? He didn't do shit either. He just got sent here. Like, you gotta talk to your homies. These are the only people you will have. Talk to them. Don't act like you're above them. And I like that was coming from Tyrion, which I thought was kind of funny. But like, he's one of the only people who gets that sort of shit. You know, like he's like, I've never been able to look at myself as better than anyone. So do your best not to. I've had all the resources, I've had all the money, but no matter where I went, I was always looked at as less than. So keep in mind that you're not better than anybody, you know, like talk to them, be brotherly. These are your brothers. These are who you're spending your life with. So keep that in mind. But next up, Benjen meets John atop the wall. Some beautiful visuals here too of John making his way up the wall, like the whole journey up the fucking elevator ride that takes like 30 seconds out of the episode.
Would suck to be the dude at the bottom having to push the thing all the way up. Oh my god. If he lets go, does John like fall? You think there's probably a catch built in?
Stops.
Hopefully. Like some sort of thing built in there. Because like that's gotta be exhausting. Like to do that down there. Like man.
Sure,
and
I'm
the
sure
cold
it is.
too. Fuck.
Yeah, but Benjen lets him know he's ranging the haunted forest. That's his plan. And John's like, let me go with you. I'm ready. And he's like, no, you're not. And here, rank and nobility mean nothing. He's like, you're better than no one. I fucking loved that. That was such a great scene.
Yeah, my favorite line of the episode is that one right there. It's the last thing he says to John before he leaves. Telling him that he's better than no one. Here, a man gets what he earns when he earns it, and then we'll speak when I return. And like every time that a Stark has left him, and says like, oh, we'll speak when I return, like the words that he's last heard from them have been like very crucial lessons to him. From Ned being that he has Stark blood, that he is a Stark, regardless.
It's crazy too that like this does stick with John, you know, to the point where it's what kills him. You know, that's how they lure him out into the corner of the yard out there whenever they're like, Benjen, he's here, he's arrived. And they're like, he's like, oh shit, take me to him. And they go out there and they're like, you gonna die.
You're gonna die.
You gonna die. But yeah, he and then we do see Benjen again eventually. John and Benjen reunite north of the wall in that crazy Beyond the Wall episode in season 7. But before departing, Benjen stops by the eating area to say farewell to Yoren, a fellow Night's Watchman who's been hanging out with Tyrion for a couple seconds, exchanging some jokes and stories. And what's the craziest thing you've ever eaten? This guy's talking about how he ate a bear's balls, and then Tyrion's like, do Dornish girls count? And they're like, ha ha ha! Just some homies talking about eating puss.
But Tyrion here, like later on, especially when Benjen comes in, like Tyrion's really funny here. Like,
he's incredible.
Like, Benjen just being so serious, like he's being a Stark,
Oh, do you make a joke of my service?
Yeah.
He's like, no, not really.
No, I really honor. And then Benjen cuts him off. Anything, I once heard that anything a man says before the word "but" means nothing.
Fucking fantastic. Yeah, you don't have enough men to be an army, and aside from Yoren here, none of you are particularly funny. Benjen going, I hope we provided you with some good stories to tell when you're back in King's Landing. That's something to think about when you're drinking your wine down there, enjoying your brothels. Half the boys you've seen training will die north of the wall. Might be a wildling's axe that gets them. Might be sickness. Might just be the cold. They die in pain, and they do it so plump little lords like you can enjoy their summer afternoons in peace and comfort. Tyrion looks to Yoren. Do you think I'm plump? Like, all that, and he's like
playing him off. Yeah. It just instantly plays him off, and just.
And this is one of the most iconic lines in the show. Mm-hmm. My brother once told me that nothing counts. Nothing someone says before the word "but" really counts. It's one that gets called back to a couple times. I think Sansa says it later on. And he's talking about how giants and ghouls and White Walkers are lurking beyond the wall. He doesn't really believe that. That the only difference between them and the wildlings is that when the wall went up, our ancestors happened to be on the right side of it. And that's it. That's the difference.
Well, partially right, but also partially wrong.
Yeah, to be sure. But when Benjen leaves, Tyrion's like, I think he's starting to like me. Just a fantastic scene from Tyrion there. Always fucking incredible. And he learns a little bit about the vernacular. You going under? Yep. So what the fuck's going under? Oh, he's going to the tunnel under the wall. He's going to go north. Like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Wall speak. Sick. We're learning the language that they speak at the wall.
But later, Tyrion discusses north of the wall with Jeor Mormont and his chief advisor, Maester Aemon. Meet Maester Aemon here as well.
Yes.
Targaryen.
One of the last remaining.
Yes,
it's
brother.
Him, Daenerys, and Viserys. Well, just Daenerys and Aemon before long. And then just Daenerys. True. Sorry. Man.
There are two Targaryens at the wall right now.
Hello. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy, but, Maester Aemon, and they all have a discussion here. Jeor asks for Tyrion to intercede at court. He's like, hey, we know you're the king's brother, you're the queen's brother and shit. Can you ask them that we need help? We need more people. I don't know if you've seen the motherfuckers we got out here, but it ain't right. This ain't what it's been.
It ain't right.
This ain't what I'm looking for. We got less than 1,000 of us now. Come through and help a brother. And Aemon warns that the Stark words are right. Winter is coming. It will be more harsh and terrible than any in living memory. More dangerous things than wildings might come with it. After all, one of their number swore that the White Walkers had returned right up to the moment Ned Stark cut his head off. And Tyrion admits his skepticism that supernatural creatures might exist, but he agrees to bring word to the Queen. And before departing for King's Landing, Tyrion fulfills an old ambition by climbing to the top of the wall and pissing off the edge of it.
Naturally. As anyone would.
I mean, how could you not?
If I was there, goddamn, I would piss off the edge.
I don't know, at least spit. I think I'd stay.
At least a spit, That's just any human.
Like, whenever Benjen and Jon are, standing, right there on the edge, I'm like, bro, back up a little bit, homie.
Dude, yeah, that is freaky.
I'd faint and fall right off the edge.
Yeah. You'd get vertigo just looking down and then just be like, yep, fuck. Yep.
When you, look at, a really tall building or a really far drop and you start, accidentally leaning the way you're, looking, I'm falling, and I have no doubt about it.
Fuck that.
But, he and Jon share one last little moment before he departs, and I liked that scene as well. Them getting one last little moment together. But yeah, that concludes the story there at the wall.
Now on to
the Dothraki Sea.
Yes.
Very, very close to the end of this episode, but Daenerys commands the Khalasar here to halt on a whim. She's like, you know what? I got power now. They listen to me. I'm going to be a little bit of a Khaleesi to these hoes. Everybody, stop for a second. I want to feel the grass in my toes. She goes on a walking, and Viserys rides up like, yo, you dare command me? And she's like, yeah, bitch. And he's like, you've woken the dragon, sister. I'm gonna hurt you real bad. Ugh.
You don't know what's about to happen. Grrr.
And then whipped around the neck by Rakaro, a Dothraki warrior wielding a whip. And Daenerys calms the situation. I like that he's like, you want me to kill him?
Do you want me to kill him?
Yeah, do you want him dead?
I'll kill this motherfucker
now.
now.
He says it in Dothraki, and then the translator goes, he wants to know if you want him dead, Khaleesi. Like, just says it so, like,
I love
casually.
the way that, like, the handmaiden there, like, looks up at him and is like, I don't know, man. She doesn't want it to happen. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and he's like, are you kidding me? I don't even get to
like, I don't know, man. Seems weird to me, but, like, apparently that's what she wants.
Whatever. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Fair enough.
This is my favorite scene of the episode. I forgot about it. This is my favorite scene, because it's the first time Daenerys comes into her own a little bit as far as power is concerned. The Dothraki listen to her. Like, Viserys commands Jorah, cut this man's head off, and he looks to Daenerys and is like, "What would you like me to do, Khaleesi?" And I just absolutely love the way Viserys gets sunned. He's like, all right, I'm going to board my horse. And the Ricaro's like, no, you walk. Just everything about this was so fucking satisfying. And I really, really love it. But yeah, later on, one of her handmaidens, Eerie, is tending to Daenerys and is like, when was the last time you bled, Khaleesi? I think you are with child.
Yeah, just
like, holy shit.
Yeah, just feels up Daenerys, and Daenerys is like, yo, what's She's up like, with that? Like,
yo, them titties. Them titties popping. Like, what's going on here?
A gift from the Great Call, or what do they all say? Whenever, is it a gift? Oh, they refer to it, because even someone else says it later, not just here. Like, it was said like later on or something, I think. Whatever. A blessing from the Great Stallion. There it is. Yeah,
blessing from the Great Stallion. I love that. Like, she goes out there and she like talks to Jorah and the other Dothraki and is like, she hasn't bled in 2 moons, guys. She's preggo.
Yeah, give her some not horse. She doesn't want to eat horse. What can we give her? She doesn't want to eat
horse. She doesn't want to eat dog. He's like, I'll have one of the men a goat.
Yeah. No, it was because the guys were like, whatever, just eat whatever. And then she was like, but she is, and then she was like, but she has not bled in 2 moons. And then Jorah's like, I will have them slaughter a goat for her meal. Like, he was instantly like, she's pregnant, and Jorah just instantly got up and just simped.
Yeah, he was like, all right, I'm on it then. Good. But I love Daenerys laying down with Khal Drogo here, them cuddling after sex. Tells him she thinks it'll be a boy. And he's like, yeah. What makes you say that? Oh, what make you say that? And and she's like, I don't know, just a feeling. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'ma have a boy. But right outside the tent, Ser Jorah, Mormont, and Rhaegar are, comparing the ways of battle. He's like, what, the steel dress? And he's like, armor. Yes, it does make you slow. This is true. And I love the way that they're like having just like a genuine conversation. Ricaro's not being dismissive of the Westerosi ways. He's like, oh, this is like actually interesting to me. Like, my dad was a great warrior here. I hear your dad's a great, like, what about your dad? And he's like, mine is a great warrior as well. A man of great honor. And I betrayed him. Disgraced. And what's funny is they never go as far as to like explicitly make it clear to you that Jeor Mormont at the Night's Watch is his dad. You just kind of had to be paying attention.
You really, I didn't notice that for like I don't know if I ever.
I don't think I noticed it until they like explicitly say it way later in the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens way later in the show, and I certainly didn't notice it. I remember when the first time they mentioned it, I was like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, right."
Like, yeah, they're so far apart that it just they're so far apart that it just doesn't correlate. Like, it just doesn't.
It doesn't.
They don't even come close to you thinking of
One
the same
thing
thing.
I am interested in: does the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch follow some different set of rules?
What do
He has kids.
Oh.
Did he already have?
Wife
He
and
probably
land.
He probably had him before he went.
Oh yeah, like he still has a.
He would have been Lord. He would have been Lord of Bear Island at some point, right?
Yeah, he would have been Lord of Bear Island, but like I feel like the Night's Watch is like a pretty, you work your way up sort of thing.
He's like the warden, sort of thing. So I think like maybe it's like it is a highborn seated position to rule the Night's Watch. Like you're not a member of the Night's Watch. You can be considered. You're an honorary member.
You have to be first of the highest born to get stuck with fucking the Night's Watch.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm intrigued by it. I don't think they ever go into it, but it didn't occur to me till just now. I'm like, wait, why the fuck is he there? Because John works his way up, and they're like, this is who we want to be the Lord Commander. So was Gior just like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Was it because of the because Jorah got in trouble for trying to sell slaves, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe his because it was on his father's land and he oversaw it. Maybe Ned was like, "You got to go to the Night's Watch, man." Like maybe
it's either your hand or the Night's Watch. Like the same ultimatum they give, whatever. For
you will leave this place in the hands of little Lady Mormont. But yeah, this whole conversation culminates when Eerie comes out and is like, Daenerys is pregnant, let's feed her. And he's like, I have to go.
Must go. Yeah. I will get her a goat and now I must go.
Well, that's the thing, is he's like, oh fuck, I gotta go tell Varys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh shit, she's about to have a kid. That's some real shit right there. Gotta inform my dude. What's up, Varys?
Have you seen the concept art of the baby that was in Daenerys' womb? Like it came out with House of the Dragon, like showing the two babies.
Yeah.
Like, is it kind of like, do they start out as dragons and then become a human?
I don't think it's.
Why are they scaly?
Think it's a guarantee. I don't think it's a guarantee. It's the reason neither of their pregnancies worked, though. Like it's just some Targaryen pregnancies fail because they have that blood magic tying them to the dragons.
So if the dragon gene comes out, it's a stillbirth.
Yeah.
Or like it just the baby just dies.
Yeah. But so like they
okay.
That's why it's like the sacrifice at the end was like, oh, isn't it like a life for a life? Like if you allow Khal Drogo to die, or sacrifice the baby, or sacrifice the horse, you keep both of them. The baby just didn't work out on its own accord.
Yeah,
there was nothing there. Like it was just that baby was not going to live. And then it just so happened that she made a useless sacrifice for Khal Drogo to die.
Yep, sometimes that happens, when you accidentally make a sacrifice to try to save your family, but end up screwing it. Ooh,
that happens.
And thus be the ending of that episode of Game of Thrones. Lord Snow, episode 3, directed by Brian Kirk. Interestingly enough, Brian Kirk only directs 3 episodes of Game of Thrones, and they are episode 3, 4, and 5 in this first season. He does not direct another episode again.
Directors must have been sick.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was a goodie. It wasn't quite as good as some of the other ones, but let's go over some favorites.
I think you've had all of them, but your character, Colton. It
All
looks
right.
like if you,
I'm gonna take a double check real quick. Let me
But mine, real quick, I have Arya as my favorite character, and building off of that, my scene is her sword lesson at the end is kind of leading into why she's my favorite character of the episode. Just it's the start of her arc, and I love to see it just in the early form. And I gave the performance again to Sean Bean as Ned Stark, as I did last week. I just couldn't really, I don't know, performance wise, he was in it so much on screen, and he had to react to so many things, and he was so he was just very emotional this episode. And so I gave it to him. And then my line was the line that Benjamin told John of that he's better than no one, and that he has to get what he earns when he earns it.
All right. Then performance-wise, I've got Isaac Hempstead Wright as Bran. I stand by that scene. I got that scene with Daenerys kind of commanding the Khalasar. I like that. Line I've got, he said the same thing he'd been saying for hours, burn them all, by Jamie. I stand by that. I do have to pick a character, and that's tough.
That is, I'm having trouble with characters as well.
I almost picked Varys for the realization that I had of like his network and like how connected that man really is.
Yeah, I think I am leaning Arya. Arya was my gut feeling straight off the episode. I really, really love her in this episode, and she really comes into her own as a character. But I think
I'll make a trade with you. If you want to take Arya as the character, I'll swap to Varys as my character because I have Arya and the sword fighting as my scene.
If you want to change it to that on your own accord, you do. But I'm having a tough time deciding. I liked Arya a lot. I do like Jon's character progression in this episode a lot. It is called Lord Snow. It's centered around him. This is kind of his episode in a lot of ways. I don't know. That's tough. You know what? I'm gonna go Jon. I'm gonna go Jon in this episode. I think he learns a lot in this episode that impacts him for a very long time, and I think it's an important episode for him. It's just an important episode for him. So I think that's where I'm going. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
And Tavarus, where are we sitting for you think?
I've landed at Benjamin Stark for best character. Justin, so is this the first or the last time we see Benjamin Stark?
Until he comes back as like zombie mixed with human mode, right?
He's like half White Walker later
and like
on.
That's never explained kind of ever, right? It's just kind of like, oh, that happened.
He put dragon glass in his heart before the transformation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, before the transformation he stabbed himself with dragon glass.
Yeah, well, and that's also just got to be. He's a Stark, it's easy to forget that there's another Stark that we.
Wait, how did that? So how does that stop?
Well, the dragon.
I don't fucking know.
It just.
I know how it happened though.
Bro's alive and bro's half White Walker, and that's all we need to know.
Because isn't that how the Night King was created in the first place? Was dragon glass into the Chet?
He was straight human.
Yeah, he was human though. So I think it's just like dragon glass be affecting the turns of somehow.
Fuck it.
If you're
they don't care. They don't explain. You're right. Game of Thrones does not explain magic. It's just magic.
Yeah, it's just it.
Yeah. So I want to put some respect on that. Bro's a ruin. He easily forgotten, but forever remembered. Performance, you gotta go Costa Wallace as I think
that's a fucking good choice. I was so tempted to go that route.
Jamie, similar to Bran, is at a point where you're gonna want to see him in this light again, and it doesn't happen. And then, yeah, I agree with Arya's sword lesson and Joseph's other pick here. for Benjamin Stark's line, comes in, says some strong shit, moves out. Just like who John, I think, at this point wants to be. Like John wants to be this person and thinks he is this person, but he's not quite there yet.
I get you.
He's learning the harsh reality of what it really means to be at the wall. And his title in air quotes back at home doesn't really mean much now in all of his training.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to start from the ground floor like everyone else. So,
fuck yeah. Then, all right. Now that all the favorites are out of the way, how about a good old rating for this bad boy?
Yeah.
Genre and critical rating here. We'll start with enjoyment as we are wont to do. I'm not quite as high on this one as I am the previous two. I don't think. I think
it's like a 7.
Yeah, ish.
Like 7.5, maybe.
Yeah, like I'm sitting pretty good at a 7. Like I enjoy the episode. There are better episodes. There are probably episodes I enjoy less than this. I think.
Yeah.
Like, but that's the thing with Game of Thrones. I'm never like, oh, I didn't like this episode.
It's all still like somewhat interesting information, and now like on the rewatch, like it is like pertinent information. Really cool callbacks and stuff like that happen. So like, not useless. This isn't like a useless episode.
Certainly not.
But I'd say like it's still nothing really happens. It's just all talk, and it can only be so entertaining.
It has its place,
even when it's done right.
It does have its place, to be sure, but it's they're better episodes of Game of Thrones, and I enjoy episodes of Game of Thrones more. I do like this for introducing all the characters we did meet. That was a very plus side of this episode. But as I was going through those storylines, there wasn't anything too incredibly compelling. It was a lot of great setup, but we're not following through on anything. And obviously these episodes are important for that reason, because this show is.
And it's all long-term setup. Like, setup doesn't pay off for seasons.
Yeah, or like, I mean, the only thing that comes close to paying off this season is Littlefinger being like, I will be your ally in this, like, that comes around and bites them in the ass.
Back and forth a couple times.
Yeah.
Because you're left to be like, is Littlefinger, like, does he care? No.
That motherfucker don't care. You don't give a fuck. But, I will say, genre-wise, this is a pretty strong one. Obviously we're not getting dragons or nothing like that, but I do love that we get to the wall for the first time. We get some more discussion about the possibility of White Walkers and Grumpkins and Snarks and stuff. We got the old Nan monologue. Spiders big as hounds.
She goes hard. She goes deep into the White Walker lore there with that story. Like kind of Three-Eyed Raven a little deep.
Yeah,
maybe
describes the long night.
Like maybe the Three-Eyed Raven kind of took over there a little bit, giving Bran a little preemptive, hey,
this is what you got to be looking for, huh?
Start thinking about this stuff, man. I'm prepping you, Or fuck it, dude. I think it's all a loop. It's all a loop, dude. And Bran is fucking everything. And this is just the start of it again. The end of the killing of the Night King is just the start of it again. Like the wall's gonna be repaired, and then fucking a new Night King's gonna be born somehow. It's probably gonna be Jon, like he's the new Night King, and that's how like the whole prophecy starts. So like, and that's how the dream starts. It is Targaryen, and that's why, I don't know, fucking somehow Targaryen magic exists, and it's all fucking a loop. Bran and start, I don't know,
No, it's a hot take, but
and we won't know. I don't know. I swear to God, it's George R. Martin's waiting until the day he dies to release that last book, man. He's not giving it to us anytime soon, I don't think. But genre wise for this episode 3 of season 1, I would say I don't know, I think it did better than a 7 genre wise.
I think
not
so too. I was
too much more, maybe. Maybe not 8, maybe not like last episode.
Anyway, Game of Thrones as a genre though, like it's or in terms of a genre, because it's so good at its genre because it doesn't like over explain it, It's not like Lord of the Rings. Well, I guess I don't know if I'd say that because I haven't really seen or watched or seen or read Lord of the Rings, but
but yeah, Lord of the Rings does concern itself a little bit more with the lore and kind of explaining it out and making sure you're familiar with everything. This kind of lets it unfold as it happens. And that does come at a cost to understanding it every once in a while. But
understanding Lord of the Rings, it is hard to understand because that's
I mean Game of Thrones. It comes at a cost of understanding the lore of Game of Thrones.
There are still some things that I'm figuring out now of Game of Thrones. Like that's just the cold hard truth. Like every day, on like every episode, I find out like, oh shit, no way, or like I remember like something that I just completely forgot about. It's one of the two. Like I'll either something will click or, so I don't know. I think maybe this is like a 7, like 5, or 7.25 in the genre.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was thinking 7.5. Frankly, this is what Game of Thrones is a lot in this first season. As far as fantasy is concerned, it might not be getting deep into that, but as far as a political drama is concerned, it's setting up a whole lot for us here. Varys and Littlefinger coming into play is a huge factor that we meet the small council. We got the whole Cersei talking to Joffrey scene with the whole, if you want to fuck painted whores, you fuck painted whores. I think I'm leaning closer to an 8, if I'm being honest.
You think it was on the same level as the last episode?
I don't think there's anything I can honestly say.
Yeah, they don't seem
lower.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it was all just conversation before. Well, I guess last episode you also had like the actual Arya and Joffrey getting into it and having that whole conflict sort of thing. So it gave a little more like of internal conflict and them going off on the King's Road. But I still don't think that warrants it being worse. This episode being worse necessarily. Right. So I think I can go 8 as well for the genre then.
How you feeling, Tav?
I think I can go 8.
All right, bet. And then critically, I don't think this episode is, again, visually anything that's like, wow, we're really, really honing in the style of Game of Thrones. I do think this first season is a little, and there are moments where it flashes a great deal of style later on in the season specifically. But it's a little plain for the first few episodes, I think. And there's one shot I remember specifically when Ned enters the throne room and you see him through like the giant pillars that are like vined up and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, like it's showing the grandiose kind of aesthetic of King's Landing and the throne room and stuff. But beyond that, I didn't get a lot out of this visually. I think the stuff on top of the wall looked really good. That was some pretty scenes. The score wasn't as present as I typically like it to be, I don't think. The performances were solid. The writing was good, but that's
like a constant pretty much though.
Yeah.
With Game of Thrones. Performance wise, I'd say. I don't know.
Performance wise, yeah. I don't think we really lose much on the performance side of things. We do get the first Hodor this week, by the way. So that must be considered.
Wait, really? Hodor was in this episode?
I believe so.
Wait, did I miss him? Hodor. Oh shit! Wait,
maybe I'm tripping.
What part of the episode did he pop up in?
Well, I just know that when I looked at the quotes, Hodor has a quote, and it's Hodor.
No way. Hodor. Wait, would it have been with Rob and Bran back at home?
That's what I thought it would have been, but
so maybe it would have had to been at Winterfell, right? Because no way he went to King's Landing.
Yeah, no, he's in Winterfell to be sure.
Okay, let's see.
But maybe he's not in that scene, and maybe IMDb was just fucking with me. I think it was. I don't think Hodor's in that scene.
Because it's just Nan here, and then Rob walks in. Tells her to get out. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm tripping. I was trusting IMDb with their quotes there. It said credited Hodor for a Hodor. So, first Hodor has not came yet, I don't think.
Dang it. I was really hoping he kind of was. But, oh well. I guess maybe it's next episode. Maybe it's a little teaser.
Yes.
Or who knows, maybe in the background there was a Hodor line. Just, maybe that's a little...
Hodor. He's like Bigfoot footage. He's got like his arm swung back and he's like walking past. I don't know. But critically, I think it's a pretty solid episode. It's nothing crazy. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking.
I'd be fine putting it around an 8.
I think so too. I think I would be too. The performances are really good.
Yeah.
Writing is solid, but
yeah, I think that makes sense because that all said and done averages it out to around a 60 or a 76 or a 77%, which I think is pretty. I mean, we're a lot harsher than IMDb is actually. This episode is given an 8.5. But I guess we gave it an 8 critically, but an 8.5 on IMDb.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Here, I'm going to check if the old tomato meter might have, season by season. They do. Here, let me get to the season 1.
It's always convoluted to get there on Rotten Tomatoes. To get there on
episode 3. That exported me to a weird place. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. It's always so weird. 81%.
81. Yeah. So it was a little kinder than we were as well, but we're leaving a lot of room to grow, I think. I try not to be overwhelmingly nice to these early episodes, even though they are really, really good. I just know there are a lot of episodes that are 10s in enjoyment and are close to a 10 critically, and this just isn't that.
This is as a rewatch too, so that is kind of important. That like it's not just off first viewing. Off first viewing, like these episodes are viewed in totally different lights. Like we wouldn't be talking about John and the Daenerys transitions, or anything like that at all. So, I think the rating is going to be a little bit different per episode. Like it's going to be the Red Weddings or the Blackwater. Blackwater. Yeah. That episode. Like it's going to be those episodes that are going to be the big hitters.
The humdingers.
Battle of the Bastards. Fuck, that's so far away. Season 6. Fuck. But we'll get there.
We will. We will indeed. And out of 77, that concludes this episode of Winter is Blooming. And with that, if you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, COROBLOOM, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including weekly comic book pull list and book reviews. If you're a comic book movie fan, we just released our Wakanda Forever review alongside it. 20 minutes of it is spoiler-free, so if you're unfamiliar with it, you can go ahead and check it out there. But if you have seen it, stick around for the whole 2 hours. Stick around for the whole shebang. You'll really dig it. If you would, head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And I was also joined by the magnificent Tavarus Pennington. Thank you very much.
No problem. Another fun one in the books.
Another fun one in the books, indeed. If you were fucking with us today, remember, if you're a Star Wars fan, we're covering Andor for the next couple weeks. Very much so looking forward to the last 2 episodes of that. Every Wednesday, we try to get that episode out for you. And then on Friday, we're continuing our 52-year journey through film. This Friday is 2016's La La Land. Very excited for you all to hear that. Next Friday, we got Get Out. Just a great stretch of movies we got for the closing out of the year. And I cannot wait for you all to hear it. But, with that, remember, peace, love, and bloom. And spiders big as hounds.